I'm Tom Vassell, and welcome to Board Game Breakfast. This is a show in which me and a bunch of contributors are going to talk about board games and the people who play them. We're really glad you're here as we are coming into the final month of 2016. Remember, our Kickstarter for the Dice Tower will be starting in about a month, so you want to keep up for that way. There's some really cool stuff coming. We'll talk about that as time goes by. And in a week and a half, we'll be going on the Dice Tower cruise, so that's going to be interesting. This week, I'm going to be doing a couple Q&As. I'm going to try to do 3 different Q&As this week. We'll be doing a normal Q&A today, and that will be around 2 o'clock p.m. today, so come back and check it out then. At other times this week, I'm not sure when, I'm going to do 2 other ones. One is going to be with Jason, and we're going to be talking, maybe answering questions about the cruise, if anyone has questions about that and or future cruises. And then the other one is going to be one that I'm going to run every once in a while, where I want to call it like a feedback episode. So what I mean by this is, you think we should do something, or you have an idea that we want to try, specific things where you say, hey, and then I can talk to you guys, and I want to talk in real time, where I'll say, well, I don't really like it because of this, and you can say, but what about this? And I'll go, okay, but maybe this is why we won't do that, or maybe we can do that. I always like to get ideas and make this channel better, so think of this almost like a town hall type show. So that's coming this week. Other than that, there's lots of stuff you can find at our website, dicetower.com. And I also want to point out that I'm about to get into dicetowernews.com, a Dice Tower News section, but we do have a website called dicetowernews.com. And if you want to keep up with the news as it comes out and different articles and what Kickstarters and such, that's a great website to keep an eye on. Robert Searing and a whole crew of people maintain that website, so you definitely want to check that out. And we have a podcast that comes out once a week, Dice Tower News, and you'll be able to check that out, and you can download that and hear the different things that are happening each week. Speaking of news then, let's get to it. Sit Down Games has announced Magic Maze, which is a real-time cooperative game. There seems to be a good amount of cooperative games coming out, and the real-time cooperative game genre is growing, so we'll have to wait and see how well this one plays. AEG has a pile of stuff. First of all is a 3-way expansion called Destination Fun. This is an expansion for planes, trains, and automobiles, and you know they were dying to call it that, but probably for legal reasons they can't. This is an expansion for trains. There's more cards and boards. For planes, more boards to play on. And automobile, more cards and different tracks for the people to race on. Now, I'm not really a big fan of these 3-way expansions for several reasons. One, if you don't have one of the games, let's say you only own automobiles, it's kind of annoying to have to buy a bunch of stuff for the other 2 games. And, you know, some of these, like, was anyone even asking for a planes expansion? But it is what it is, so if you want more stuff for these, that's coming out. They also announced Light and Dark. This is a 2-player flicking style game. The Captain is Dead. I love the theme of this one, where you're on a spaceship and the captain's dead. And now the rest of you are like, oh, we got to keep this going, and there's different roles, and you have to figure out how to keep the ship from crashing. That's a great theme. Think It Up. This is a party game where you're trying to think of things that start with letters of the alphabet. And What Were We Thinking? This is the newest Smash Up expansion, which now brings the number of factions in Smash Up to 50. The factions here are Teddy Bears, Rock Stars, Grannies, and Explorers. I'm still waiting for Cowboys. I guess Explorers is probably as close as we're ever going to get to that. Grannies, was anyone asking for that? I guess it does make funny, though. Granny Ghosts or Granny Ninjas. I mean, you could just think of anything and add grannies to it. I'm going to have Russians riding bears mixed with teddy bears. Oh, they're so cute and cuddly. All right, so anyway, that's coming up. Quick Simple Fun Games has announced Hani Makaji. I probably mispronounced that. Sam is really in love with this game, so he'll be glad to hear that. Yellow has announced some games that are coming up. Pyramids, which is a 2 to 5 player game about building things in ancient Egypt. Great, but what does that mean? There's so many ancient Egypt games where you build stuff. Well, we'll have to see if that's anything different. Legends of Wendigo, this is with Mass Scorpion. This is a cooperative kids game. I like that kind of idea. The last one about the monster under the bed was a good one. So this one sounds fun too. And they announced Cthulhu. We already known about this, but this is a monster pack where you're going to get Cthulhu, and you can use them in King of Tokyo or King of New York, and they'll come with power-up cards for both of them. These are like, well, as soon as you see, I got to get that, whether you own King of Tokyo or King of New York. Space Hulk is coming back into print this December, so you have that and Blood Bowl probably to pick from Games Workshop. Capstone has got the rights and is going to be printing Three Kingdoms Redux, so fans of heavier games can rejoice. And Munchkin CCG, I took a look at the Munchkin collectible card game at the Board Game Geek Con in 2015, and then they were showing it off here again in 2016. It was pushed back for various reasons, so that'll be coming in 2017 at this point. It's been pushed back some, but I'm sure when it comes, a lot of people are really going to enjoy it. I should also mention that Yellow has organized play that they'll be doing for several other games, and organized play is still something that companies are still working on and trying to get different organized play things into place. Well, that's it for regular news. Kickstarter time!
Happy breakfast, everybody! Well, BGG-Con was a couple of weeks ago, and I came home with a lot of great stuff. But that doesn't mean I'm not looking forward to even more great stuff. So let's take a look at what's happening in our crowdfunding world today. From the designer of The Resistance and Avalon comes Abandoned Planet. Designed for 4 to 8 players, you'll be working to escape the meteor apocalypse, trying to build an escape rocket as the world crumbles around you. Each round, the leader will know where the next meteor is going to hit, and they may or may not share this info. Bargains, alliances, and betrayals are all fair game. Players will secretly select and simultaneously reveal which part of the planet they're going to fly to collect parts or steal resources or leverage whatever action a given area allows. And then each round, a meteor strikes, permanently changing an area of the planet or wiping it out completely. Players will need to find a partner to abandon the planet with and do it quickly because while many can win, someone is definitely going to be left behind. Abandoned Planet is a smart entry into the party game field, and it can be yours for a pledge of $35 plus shipping. The Egyptian-themed Ominos leverages dice called Ominos to add a bit of random to an abstract game. In Ominos, players score points when they position a group of 4 or more Ominos that match their icon and color. There are wild faces that increase a group's power for more points and give a player a special ability, and the game plays really quickly. Mechanically, Ominos is simple. After the board is seeded with some dice, a player will roll a die, and then they move a die that's already on the board that matches the result. Then, the die that they just rolled is placed on the board wherever they want. There are a lot of ways to mess with your opponent, so this is definitely an abstract with player interaction. Ominos plays 2 to 4 players, and it takes a pledge of £25 plus shipping. In the fascinating feudum, you have been banished to a strange land and are striving to reclaim your honor before the end of the game. This is a more complex game with a lot going on, including hand management, programming, area control, and resource management. Each round, players select from 11 action cards and play 4 of them in their selected order. Cards have a basic action and a special action that, if you've got the right influence or pieces in play, that you can take advantage of. A few of the things you can do include taxing towns, traveling through the kingdom, or influencing a guild. And there's even a feed your people mechanism. Feudum has a basic and advanced game option, and it plays 2 to 5 players. Feudum, as planned, is going to be a stunning production with a distinct art style and high-quality components throughout, and it's scheduled for a late 2017 delivery. If all this sounds good, you can get a copy of Feudum for a pledge of $59. And last but not least, Leader Games is kickstarting the second edition of their hit game Vast the Crystal Cave. Vast has proven to be a darling of the Kickstarter scene, and this asymmetric dungeon delve has been praised by a lot of people. In the base game, there are 4 playable roles, each of which has a unique play style and win condition. The knight explores the cave, collects loot, and tries to kill the dragon. The goblin tribes try to defend their territory and thwart the knight on their quest. And the dragon tries to escape the cave and the knight's deadly sword. And last, the cave itself is playable as it forms and collapses on top of everyone inside. New to the second edition are minis for the player pieces, which are a pretty nice upgrade to the standees, and 2 new roles, the Ghost and the Ghoul. There's also upgraded player boards and rules. For those of you who have the first edition of the game, there are upgrade packs available for $10 plus shipping. And for those of you who missed out previously, you can get the new base game for $60 plus shipping. Or for $85, you can get the complete package, including the minis. But the new roles are add-ons for any of the pledge levels. All right, that's all I've got for you this episode. Hopefully something caught your eye. And on a personal note, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who came up and said hi to me at BGGCon. It was so much fun meeting everyone, and thanks for making the time to reach out. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful week and play all the games.
Hi, welcome to Painting Miniatures 101. I'm thankful at this time of year for everything that I have, and especially all my friends at the Dice Tower and the contributors who are my friends as well. And most of all, I'm thankful for all of you that enjoy this segment and have sent me tons and tons of pictures and all your work. Thank you so much. So why don't we take a look at some of your work right now? There you have it. Another great session with all your stuff that you've sent. Keep sending it. I enjoy looking at it. And if you have any questions, you can get a hold of me at novaprime860@hotmail.com. Until next time, I'm Rob Warren. Have a great week.
Hey, this is Mike with the Board Game Makeover. Just got back from Board Game GeekCon and I am really excited because I got a lot of great ideas and I talked to a lot of people. And thank you for all the kind comments about my daughters filling in for me. I'm going to try to have them on more often. They're really honest, maybe a little too honest. One of the questions that people ask me the most is, where do I get my ideas from? The only really good way to answer that is to put you in the shoes of Mike for an entire week. And this is what my week is like. One of the things I try to do is I try to get to a thrift store. I go to thrift stores to look for components, game components, things I can use in games perhaps. And this week was better than most weeks because it was Black Friday, so everything in the thrift store was half off. And I'll show you. I picked up Go, the board game. Nice wood, good components. If I don't like the game, I can use the little beads for other things. 75 cents. I also picked up poker chips. Good clay poker chips. These were marked at $5, half off, $2.50 for 100 of them. I use these all the time. Now I also found this. I was really surprised. It's made by Days of Wonder called Cleopatra. But besides Cleopatra, the poker chips, the Go game, this is my pride and joy. Check this out. Hamilton Beach Breakfast Sandwich Maker. $5 in brand new condition. And what makes this awesome, it was on my Christmas list this year. Done. This was a score item. So then I decide, what do I want to work on this week? Well, I brought home from Board Game GeekCon Tides of Madness from Portal Games. And I really like the game, it's a lot of fun, but I'm not real impressed with their madness tokens, you know. And this is why I pick up poker chips, because I take poker chips and I'll put my own graphic on them, and I'll replace the madness tokens with these nice ones. The other thing I worked on this week is something I've been working on slowly, but I'm gonna have to get it done pretty soon. This is a dice tower from the Dice Tower. Well, what I'm doing is I'm adding the Tinker coins. The reason I like the Tinker coins is because when you turn them, they all turn. It's very cool, but this adds a steampunk theme to it as well. Whoa. It creates a higher quality dice tower to use in games, and people are always impressed when they see this come to the table. So as you can see, each week I'm using components to change out games, and sometimes it's a major change, sometimes it's a minor change. So that's what it's like in the week of Mike. Sometimes I get a lot of things done, sometimes little things done. It just depends on what my project is I'm working on. But thanks for watching the Board Game Makeover. We'll see you next time.
Okay, so what's the Dice Tower going to be doing this week? Well, we're going to be doing a lot of different reviews. We'll be taking a look at Coin Quest. This is an interesting game. Docmas, which kind of looks like Dorkmas, but not really. Toria, this is a new game from Hooch and R&R Games. I'm really excited about this one. Escape Room, the game. 4 different escape rooms in one box. Ponzi Scheme will be coming this week, as well as one that people have been asking for a while, Risk Europe, which really isn't like Risk at all. And, here's a neat one here called Beasts of Balance we'll be taking a look at. So all this, and actually at least about 7 or 8 other reviews, plus reviews from Sam and Z and our contributors. We have a board game blender going up this week. We have a back talk where we'll be taking a look at BGG Con, and probably several other things coming out for you this week. And our look back. If you don't watch Look Back's a video I put out on Wednesdays where I take a look at games that I reviewed a year, 5 years, and 10 years ago, and tell you where my opinions are on those games today. So anyway, let's continue on.
Chaz Marler from Pair of Dice Paradise here, and I have good news for lovers of the deck building, route building game Trains. A grand total of 1 additional expansion pack of cards for Trains, called Rising Sun, has been released. So obviously, Trains has stumbled in its development, and now has quite a bit of catching up to do if it wants to level the playing field with Dominion. Well, fortunately, the publisher of Trains, AEG, may finally be on track by announcing the release of a Trains expansion coming this March in the form of the Destination Fun Combo Pack, which includes not only an expansion for Trains, but also for the other recent games, Automobiles and Planes? Wait, what? Yes, the Destination Fun Combo Pack contains expansions for all 3 games, including 3 double-sided boards, 3 rulebooks, more than 350 cards, 31 card dividers, 60 tokens, and a season record pad, which is definitely something that you will need. Not included in the box is an explanation of why AEG felt compelled to package expansions for 3 separate, not cross-compatible games within one product. Now me, I personally still have enough faith left in humanity to believe that it's not so they could further drive home just how clever it is that the titles of these 3 games together recreate the name of a classic movie starring Steve Martin and John Candy. Yeah, we get it, AEG. It's totally worth the inconvenience. Okay, no, wait, hang on. Maybe I'm just not being fair. I mean, these are just expansions, which are usually relatively inexpensive. So, maybe the Destination Fun Combo Pack will still be worth buying even for those of us who only own one of these, and its MSRP is $79. Because, of course it is. So if you've been waiting for the opportunity to purchase an expansion for Trains, plus expansions for 2 other games that you may not have, at a price point higher than that of the original base game's price, then you will have your chance this spring. As for the rest of us who would rather not purchase content we don't need just for the opportunity to reference a beloved John Hughes film, I think our feelings can best be summed up by Steve Martin himself in this scene from that film. I gotta be kidding.
welcome to another episode of Board Gaming with Colleagues with To Die For Games. Today we're looking at the game 11 Nimmt.
I've got this new German card game I want you girls to try during
Lunchtime!
11 Nimmt, or Elf Nimmt in German, is a card game for, 2 to 7 players, ages 8 and up. Plays in about 30 minutes. Designed by Wolfgang Kramer and published by Amigo Games.
Yeah, this is a fun little game. I was a little surprised. So basically 11 takes it, or 11 takes for this game. So what I like about this game is that more piles come out. So you have your deck of cards, you've got your bull cards, and then you've got the one pile that you're trying to basically play on. So the purpose of the game, you want to stay within 10 of the number that's already played, but higher. So if you, for example, if you had a 20, you can play between 21 and 30. If you're unable to play, you end up having to take that whole pile of cards, you don't know how many cards are there, and then you refill that pile and add another. Something which is great though, is if you take 3 or more cards, you get a bull card. And bull cards are great because it allows you to play multiple cards as long as you're within that 10 from the base number, and you can play multiple cards in the pile. So it allows you to get rid of a lot of your cards. Because the point or objective of the game is to have no cards in your hand, because those little bulls on the top of the cards, we'll show a little picture, those count as negative points for you. We don't want that.
This game appeals to me particularly because it's not really a trick-taking game. Obviously, I'm trying to get rid of cards instead of collect cards, but that really appeals to me as well. It's basically a player versus player version of the game, and I love the game. So this one obviously was right up my alley as soon as Mandy brought it to the table.
I'm not sure which came first, this one or the game, but we'd have to look that up at some point. I really enjoyed it. I like card games in general, and this one had enough, different stuff in it to make it interesting. And I really enjoyed how the piles grow as the game progresses. There's more and more piles to play on, so you have more options to play your cards.
Yes, and now I've only played 6 Nimmt once. Thank you, Jamie, for bringing that in, but it is different. So if you own 6 Nimmt, this would be something you could add, and it would be completely different. So I believe in that when you're playing as in a one-off secrets versus 10.
Yes, that's what you mentioned to me.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, I enjoyed it. I really liked playing it during lunch hour, and it was like silly fun, but fun nonetheless. So I think overall we're on the same page.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Let's sneak in another game before we get back to work.
Sounds like a plan.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Hello, Cody here with the Discriminating Gamer. I gotta tell you, I recently played Legendary Civil War, the Marvel deck building game from Upper Deck, and I gotta tell you, I loved it. I thought it was a great expansion to Legendary. I loved how you've got the divided cards that let you do stuff from either side. I love some of the keywords, some of the new ones, and then some of them they brought back, like Bribe, I thought was just great. Anyway, as I'm playing this game and I'm looking at the comic book, I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't this dramatic tension of trying to register for the Superhero Registration Act, and Iron Man, and Captain America, and all these guys turning against each other, wouldn't that make a great movie? Well, we'll probably never see a big budget film based on this comic book in our lifetime, so I thought I'd go ahead and meticulously recreate all the action and drama of the comic book and the game for you here today in this episode of The Dramatic Gamer. Let's watch! Join the Superhero Registration Act. Never! Don't do drugs. There's a little message there at the end. Please somebody help me on my feet again.
Hey folks, on YouTube, we have thousands of videos on our channel. That's a lot of videos. And do you know that I can't respond to every single comment that's posted on one of our videos? It just is not physically possible. I guess I shouldn't say it's not physically possible. I certainly could do it, but then we wouldn't have any more videos because it would take up a lot of time. We get a lot of comments. However, we don't get so many comments that I'm not able to read pretty much every comment. I believe I probably miss some as time goes by, but I do an effort to try to keep and read and look at the comments that are coming. And you know what? I delete a whole lot of these comments, and every once in a while, I will ban someone. I shouldn't say every once in a while. I will ban someone pretty much almost every day on the Dice Tower. Now, that makes me a jerk, right? Well, let me explain my reasoning behind it. First of all, a lot of people believe that free speech, or especially if you're talking about United States Bill of Rights, the right of free speech and so on, that doesn't really apply here. If someone is in my house and they just start cursing up a storm, I'm going to ask them to leave. That has nothing to do with your constitutionally protected right of free speech. That is a public thing. In a private setting, I have whatever right to have people say what they want. So the free speech here doesn't apply, but at least the law of it. But you say, what about in general? We should be able to say whatever we want. Well, you can to a point. And I want to talk about that because I do ban people from the website, but not for maybe the reasons you think. The number one reason that I ban anybody from commenting on YouTube is spam. All right, and they're pretty easy to tell. YouTube has a spam filter. They usually catch these, and I usually kick them out. Spam can be anything from, oh, this is a very interesting video. Check out my thing about how to build cars here. Well, what are you talking about? To somebody who comes on every video and says, this is cool. Check out this link. This is cool. Check out this link. And these people consistently will do it on several of your videos, and they're very easy to catch. So spam is something that I delete and often will ban the user for, and that's the kind of thing that everybody watching says, yay! I mean, no one's upset about that except the spammer. The other one is, though, when I delete stuff that people say because I don't really like it. And you go, what? You deleting stuff you don't like? Well, let me explain. I don't mind when someone comes on our videos and says, Tom, you are dead wrong about this video. I don't think you know a lot about games. Let me explain why this game is great if Tom says it's bad, or if it's horrible if you say it's good. That's fine. I think we should have a lot of discourse about games, talk about games on the channel. What I will not tolerate are two things. One is foul or blasphemous language. And you say, what? Tom, are you not an adult? You can't handle these things. The fact is that Dice Tower is a family-friendly channel. I believe in it strongly. I push forward it in all my videos. And I think that comes to the comments, too. I want our comment section to be, you can not only watch the videos, but you can read the comments. So that's one thing that I will delete. I don't ban people for usually those, but I will delete the comments. Unless it's like just hate-filled, horrible speech, those people will likely get banned, but they're usually trolls who stop by anyway. The other is personal attacks. It's one thing to say, Chaz, I really didn't enjoy your segment, but to say, Chaz, you are a whiny, idiotic jerk. That's a personal attack, the second one. The first one is not a personal attack. And now you may say, well, that stuff doesn't bother me, but I think that stuff is mean, it doesn't add anything to the conversation, and I will delete it. I will also not apologize for deleting it. I'm really not sorry, and in fact, I'm glad. And I do this because I believe the tenor of conversations can be raised and uplifted based on what people are saying and what's going back and forth, as long as, it's okay to disagree. Now, we have some videos, Board Game Breakfast a couple episodes ago and other videos, where the amount of contention and disagreement in them is very strong. Every single one of our top 10 lists, the amount of contention is very strong on them usually. Tom, I can't believe you say that. And that's fine. But we can learn to argue and debate with one another without calling names and just insulting each other. Now, you might say, Tom, I've watched your top 10s. You guys kind of insult each other. That is true. But there's a couple things there. First of all, when we insult each other in our top 10s, it's verbal rather than written. Written always comes across worse than verbal does. And you can see it, and there's intuition, and everyone knows it's pretty much a big joke between the three of us. We are really not mad at each other after any top 10. But two, we're also really good friends, okay? Sam and Z are not just my co-workers or employees, but they're people I really like hanging out with them outside of either of these. They both came to our house for Thanksgiving. We didn't play games at all. We barely talked about games. We just had a good time together. So they're really close friends of mine. So they have earned the right to be able to say, Tom, you're a moron, and that's okay, right? I don't know Mr. Internet person, and I know for sure that Mr. Internet A does not know Mrs. Internet B. So you can't call them names. You can say you think their opinion's wrong in a polite, respectful way, but you can't call them names. Here's the deal. There are many places on the internet where you can have at it. No moderation around, and that's perfectly fine. And if you go to another forum and you say, I don't like Tom, and I hate Sam, and Z's a moron, and I don't like Chaz, and Suzanne, and all that stuff, you can do that on their forums. But in my house, and the YouTube comments are my house, I'm going to enforce that. And I think overall it's better for that, because the trolls who come in to cause problems, when they leave, the attitude is better. We're not trying to create an echo chamber here where everybody agrees with the dice tower. We certainly have some commenters who aren't echo chambers. They disagree with us consistently. But if you come in here and tell us how dumb other people are and how idiotic you think things are, and you call people morons or worse, I will delete with prejudice and possibly ban if it's offensive enough. Anytime someone writes a very offensive post, I go back and look at all the comments that they've made on any of our YouTube thing. I can do searches for that and find it out. And if they have a history of negative posts, and pretty much all negative posts, I delete them because that doesn't add anything to the conversation. If you think I want a single voice, then you don't watch the Dice Tower. I have people who highly disagree with me on the Dice Tower Awards because I want them to be the best games, not Tom's games. Sam and Z, I have them on here because I want people who disagree with me, and I'm always looking for more reviewers and more people to show up on our shows who have different voices, because we need different voices in gaming. We just don't need jerky voices in gaming. I want everyone to play games. That's my motto, right? My mantra is always like, everybody, gaming's for everybody, and gaming is for everybody, but if you are a jerk, I have to make an exception to my rule and kick you out so that I don't lose 20 people that I like. One jerk loss, I can live with, but one jerk who comes on and chases other people away. YouTube comments are pretty horrific on many videos. But if I can moderate, and as long as I can physically pull this off, or eventually I may have to hire someone to do it, we're going to try to keep them as interesting and as fun as they can be. Disagree all you want, that's fine. I'll let those stand, but you start getting into personal attacks, trollish behavior, and those we don't tolerate. Disagree with me? I'll let it sit in the comments. I'm not going to say anything against it, but I hope that many people find our YouTube comment sections more pleasant as a result of this.
Welcome back, Cyril's Brettspiele. My name is Niels, and today in the best and the worst, we both talking about smugglers. Smugglers from Cosmos. And let's take a look what my favorite is on this game and what's not, right? See you. The best part of Smugglers for me is the unique components. I have never played a game with clay or Play-Doh like this. I've never played a unique mechanic like this. Does it fit through the fence or not? That is the only question. So, in theory, do I have too much clay or not? Is the ball too big or not? So like this, oh, that doesn't fit. So this is brilliant. I really like the mechanic. I really like the components. That is so unique, so fresh, never seen before. And you know, we all are looking for a new game. I mean, how boring is that to play the 25th version of Risk? So playing with this clay is a lot of fun. Having the replayability. The replayability means when you figure it out once and your skills are good enough that you always have the biggest ball to go through it. And honestly, you figure that out after 10 or 15 minutes, maybe 20 if you're a little bit slow, then you know everything about the game. The game is over after 15 or 20 minutes, at least the interest in playing it again. So you play it probably once or twice with gamers, and then oh, wow, do we want to play Smugglers again? The same game? Probably as a drinking game, but not as a real game at all. However, this is not the core market of the game. The core market is, as you can see from the design, it's kids games. And as a kids or family game, it may be more appealing to kids of 8, 9. That was my personal favorite part for Smugglers from Thames and Cosmos. And yeah, I see you next time here on the Board Game Breakfast. My name is Niels Cyril's Brettspiele. Happy gaming.
Hello, my name's Dan, and this is Cora, and we're here today to talk to you about board games for children of around 5 and under. Today, we're talking about this game. Beep, beep. What is it, Cora?
Follow that car!
Follow that car!
Follow That Car is a competitive matching game where the players lay tiles down that, by the end of the game, results in a nice little road network being built. The players start off with 5 road tiles and a seed tile is placed in the middle. On their turn, a player can put one of their tiles down to continue the road, but only if it matches the colour or the vehicle type of the road tile next to it. If the player is unable to lay a tile, then they have to draw one instead. There's a couple of special tiles in the game. The roundabout acts as a wild tile and also lets the player place another section of road immediately after it. And the dead end is, well, it's a dead end. The winner of the game is the person who gets rid of all their tiles first, and is usually Cora.
So, Cora, do you like Follow That Car?
Yes.
Why do you like it?
I like the roundabout bit.
You like
Because
the
I can
roundabout
just
bit?
put one on the roundabout and just anyone.
Yeah, you can put...
I can do it with not even the colour that I need to do.
That's right. The roundabout lets you choose whatever colour you want, doesn't it? And that's very useful. So, Follow That Car, a nice simple game, especially good for kids who like, well, animals and cars, basically, and trucks and diggers and police cars and duck ponds and roundabouts and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, and the duck pond bit is a flood.
Yeah, duck pond bits of flood. So we give it 2 thumbs up.
All right, it's time to take a look at some of the stuff that's on my shelf and see why I've kept it. Here we have room 25. I'll probably be replacing this very soon with the deluxe version of it, but this one is kind of like the movie Cube as a game. I actually don't like the normal way that much, but when you add traders to this game, it's a lot of fun. I like the idea of this one. Champions of Midgard, I love the theme. Vikings, I feel like this one here is Lords of Waterdeep with dice. That's essentially how I describe it, and it's just a lot of fun to play. I was really pleased. I played the prototype of this one way back in the day. Was super happy to get this one into publication. Galaxy Trucker takes up 2 boxes because I have Galaxy Trucker and I have the big expansion and another big expansion. I think 2 other small expansions in here, even more, whatever they're called. I really like Galaxy Trucker. I wish it took up much less space for, I don't play it as often, I think, as it's worth 2 boxes, but it is pretty fun. Over here, it looks like we have 2 wooden boxes. Well, one of them is Flick 'em Up, and the other one is Junk Art. All right, these are the 2 games from Pretzel Games, Junk Art, and the other one, Flick 'em Up. And I have all the rule books for Flick 'em Up because Flick 'em Up has 2 expansions now, and I had to take the rule books out to fit everything into the boxes. I wish these, I mean, they're really cool to have these deluxe boxes. I wish they had something on the side. I know they both had sleeves, but I hate sleeves. I hate books with sleeves, and games with sleeves is even worse, so I just pull them out until I find the right one. There's only 2 of them. Captain Sonar came out this year. Amazing game. Actually, so did Mystic Vale. These are 2 2016 games that made it. Actually, Junk Art is. That's 3 2016 games in a row. Captain Sonar, if you played this one, then you know why it's on my shelf. If you've never played it, you gotta. This is a 8-player game. You can play with less than that, but an 8-player game. It's basically Battleship real time, and it is so fun. You gotta play it. Mystic Vale is a deck building game, which has... it might have come off my shelf if they didn't come out with an expansion, but they did, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of this, where you're a card crafting game, where you're building the cards as you play the game, and also building a deck of cards. It's an intriguing idea, and I really enjoyed it as soon as I saw it. So that is another shelf.
Hi, my name's Dave Adams. Welcome to Good Game, Better Gamers. Last week I started with the first of my big C creatives in the board gaming industry, beginning with Gary Gygax. This week I want to move over to someone who is a personal favorite of mine, and I have many of his games in my collection, and of course I'm talking about Antoine Bauza. Antoine is a French designer who at the age of 38 already has 2 Spiel des Jahres winning games under his belt, as well as a highly commended in this year's category. One of the things that really sets Antoine apart is his ability to find game ideas and mechanics which are really diverse. He's done children's games, he's done family games, he's done harder, more complex games. The actual reason I'm highlighting Antoine isn't the process he goes through during design. It's the things he does behind the scenes that I think makes the difference to him as a designer. What I'm talking about here is the way he doesn't just spend all his time focused on game design. One of the key features of creative and innovative individuals is the fact that they actually spend a lot of time asking questions, exploring ideas about things other than the topic that they're interested in. In fact, innovation by very definition is taking 2 diverse ideas and putting them together and coming up with something new and original out of that. Antoine advocates himself regularly that if you want to be a good designer, go out and do more than just think about design. You need to read books. You need to go travel, taste cuisine, take an interest in history. You need to just be engaged with life. Part of the reason for that is we never really know where ideas are going to come from. And that's a really good key for success in this area, because being creative and innovative requires us to do more than just specialize in a given field. We need to be impacted, we need to be inspired, we need to be challenged and questioned by the world around us. Antoine's passion for life in general is one of the things that feeds into his design process, and is certainly something that we can all take away from. It's great to be interested in board game design, but to be a good designer, you need to have a way of thinking about the world and not just about the field you're working in. I am absolutely confident that Antoine has far more in him than just 2 Spiel des Jahres winners. Even though that is amazing, I am quietly confident that he's going to achieve far more than that. In fact, possibly even to the standard of Wolfgang Kramer. Look, thanks for watching. My name's Dave Adams, and enjoy your breakfast.
Hi guys. Each year in the Netherlands we celebrate Saint Nicholas, a centuries-old man who leaves his home in Spain to travel per steamboat to each city and on national TV to hand out gifts and treats to the children. He doesn't do this alone, he has help. So from mid-November until December 5th, walking around the Netherlands, you have a good chance of bumping into his companions, Black Pete's, dressed in colorful Renaissance attire but with blackface makeup. Black because he moves through the chimney to give all the kids their presents, but with big red lips and earrings that symbolize slavery. The first time that someone mentioned that this was a form of racism was back in 1965, but a very big part of my oh so tolerant country refuses to adjust to worldly, decent standards. This year, for the first time ever, all Dutch TV networks have agreed to change the color of Black Pete's skin, showing white Pete's, rainbow-colored Pete's, yes, even stroopwafelpieten. But still, a big majority of the cities in the Netherlands keep using public money to keep a tradition alive that should have been changed decades ago. This week I am playing a game that originally had no problem with you buying slaves to get you further in the game, but soon they offered replacements and called them fakirs. This week I am playing 5 Tribes. In 5 Tribes, each turn starts with a bidding round for player order. And then, in turn, players start moving colored tribesmen around the board in a mancala-like motion. Meaning, they pick up all the meeples in one area and then drop one off in each adjacent field. The last colored meeple you place determines which tribe action you will take. And the amount of that color already in that field determines the strength of your action. Those used meeples are then removed from the board, and if that means that the area you ended up in is cleared out of meeples, that means you can own that tile, and that gives you a benefit. But if you did not manage to clear the tile of meeples, you can still perform the tile action, giving you different possibilities to make points. The game is definitely fun to play, but if every player wants to make the best out of every move, there can be a lot of downtime with players figuring out what is the best move out of there. I know this has been a very, very, very short overview of the game, but it really is fun to play, so maybe this is just enough to let you try it out. 5 Tribes. My name is Dave Duza. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so today we're taking a look at one of the Stonemeyer's treasured chests. I think they have 6 of these now, if I'm correct, and this is the Terror Tome. Just got these in. I'm very excited. I haven't put them in games yet. So what's in here? Okay, so we have some blood vials. All right, so these are little vials filled with blood. I suppose you could use them for anything. These are the one thing. Now, there is a website where you can try to figure out what the different pieces and what games they go in, but I haven't yet figured out exactly how I want these what game those to go in yet. These, on the other hand, this is the very best component in this set. These are great. These are metal. And They just feel great, and these are clues. You can use these in Arkham Horror, or Mansions of Madness, or Eldritch Horror, or Elder Signs. I mean, these are great. I love these. The skulls are good. Sam said when he saw me, he said, man, these skulls need a wash. And he may be right there. I wish they had a little bit more detail. That's not a very good one. Most of the skulls look better than that. There's a better skull. And they're okay. You could use them for corruption or something. Then we have hearts and brains. These are probably, well, I shouldn't say probably, these are definitely meant to be used in games like Arkham Horror for life and sanity points. This is disgusting. I mean, there's no question about it. These plastic pieces here, they look like real hearts instead of the little cute Valentine's heart. And the brains look a little bit like jelly beans or chewed up pieces of bubble gum, right? The brains are okay. I mean, I like them, I guess. The hearts are neat. But again, they're kind of gross. And I really like these components. Oh, these are like little books and tomes. Kids could use these in a dollhouse. That's how cool they look. These can be used for knowledge, and there's actually a specific token in Eldritch Horror that I'm going to replace with these. I like these a lot. Honestly, these are my favorite tokens in this set, and the books are my second favorite token. I'm glad to have these three, and these vials, I think I'm glad to have them. I just got to figure out a use for them in some sort of game. So anyway, that is the Terror Tome. Ooh, ha, 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 ha.
Hi, I'm Ian, and welcome to Component Moments. And today we're going to take a look at Witchborn, a game that I've been excited about a lot. And the component options are, how do you explain it? Interesting. So let's take a look. A cataclysm has occurred and creatures known as Witchborn are swarming the land. Pick rosters from miniatures you already own. You can develop them over time. Just like a role-playing game. The game used to come with rules, rosters, and cards in app form. Attack dice, condition markers, and initiative chips. And a huge map! This is me standing next to it! The new version, which I'm so excited about, just reached its funding goal on Kickstarter, and it still comes with these great things. But it comes with printed versions of the rules and rosters and tons of Reaper miniatures. I can't wait to play it all over again. Now, if you have tons of miniatures and you don't know which ones to use, or no miniatures, it just comes right off the box. There are different adventure modules that have their own maps, just like this one. These maps are big, durable, and low gloss, easy to play on, as long as you have a huge table or floor. So check out their site online. See you next time. Bye!
So, this is your Whitleypedia, the free board game encyclopedia. As you know, I'm here in Dubai playing board games, and I made some new friends tonight. Hila. And?
Hassan.
Okay, and how did you guys first learn about board games here in the UAE?
They're nice.
They are?
And we played a popular game called Pandemic.
Great. And how did you first learn about board games? Was there a YouTube channel you guys found?
Yeah.
Dice?
Dice Tower.
Dice Tower, yes! So we even here, the Dice Tower's reach is so long. And so the catchphrase on the Dice Tower is we tell people to shut the door. So do you want to tell them to shut the door in your native language? There you go. Thanks, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
So it's getting to that time of the year again, where the nights have all drawn in and families are getting together to eat good food and share fun memories and maybe play some board games. Oh, and Christmas. Oh no. Oh. So you can also expect some arguing, some petty bickering and passive aggression, but board games, yay. And some of you may have already had some experience with this with Thanksgiving, which as I understand it is a celebration of pie, I think. So when that time comes, and it might, you could very well find yourself playing a board game with your family. Oh no. But which game? Trajan is a game for 2 to 4 no, that's stupid. That won't work. Tiny radishes. No, that's dumb. That is dumb. All the cards are in German, but no. Okay. I know this looks boring, but come on, we can just... It's really good. Actually, I have absolutely no advice for you. Other than, seatbelts. Personally, I had some success with diamonds because my mom likes trick-taking games, but on the advice of everyone, I didn't have any success with code names. It did not go well. So I found that trial and error is going to be the way forward, and patience is going to be real important, and I'm probably not going to get in a game of nations. Dang it. So let me know as a hit with your family in the comments. All my life, tumbling dice. Everyone just go buy tumbling dice and play that with your family. They'll love it.
And that's another board game breakfast, folks. Thanks so much for coming by. Wow, last week Sam and Suzanne finished up their top 100s. Well, Suzanne finished up her top 50. She's doing her 50 apps. That will be coming soon. And we still have more stuff coming. Got to fit everything into the end of 2016, and there may be stuff that you're looking for and you say you haven't done that yet. Well, we still have a month to go, so you might see some stuff coming your way. Well, I got to get moving here. It's review time. I'll see you guys at the live Q&As this week. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vassell and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff in stock at coolstuffinc.com.